Now that you know how to throw a ball, you might want to join a league or play in a tournament. Here are a few things that you should know in order to play the Canadian game. When you go to the bowling center with a couple friends, you usually take all of your turns on the same lane. When bowling in a league or a tournament, you alternate lanes. All odd frames of a game are played on one lane, and all even frames are played on the other lane. Taylor has already thrown 2 frames. He bowls his 3rd frame on the odd lane, and after sparing it, he throws his 4th frame on the even lane. His opponents who started on the even lane bowl every 2nd frame on the odd lane. Taylor will bowl his 5th frame on the odd lane again. At the top of the screen is a slow bowler warning. Part of bowling etiquette is to be ready to bowl when it is your turn. The trip to pick up chips or a drink should not slow down your fellow bowlers. You'll see a lot of hand slapping in bowling. It's all part of good sportsmanship. There is a pattern to taking your turn so that bowlers who are beside each other are not throwing the ball at exactly the same time. This is called lane etiquette. So many bowlers with everyone taking their turns, and yet no 2 bowlers that are side by side are throwing the ball at the same time. This lane etiquette allows the bowler to play without being distracted by a bowler on an adjacent lane. How is this done? Rob and Jennifer are both ready to bowl, but Jennifer is to Rob's right, so he lets her play first. Then it is Rob's turn to bowl. He doesn't have to wait for Jennifer to leave the approach. He only has to wait until she has thrown the ball. Rob will again wait to throw until Jennifer has delivered the ball. If a bowler is standing on the approach on a lane next to you, it is that bowler's turn. You stay off of the approach until the ball has been thrown. This is the first rule of lane etiquette. The second rule of lane etiquette is, if you and another bowler are stepping onto the approach at the same time, the bowler on the right gets to throw first. The other bowler will wait until the ball has been thrown. Lane etiquette is pretty easy when there are only 2 bowlers. If you have more lanes in use, it gets a little more complicated. Megan has joined Rob and Jennifer. Rob is to Megan's right, and Jennifer is to Rob's right. Who should bowl first? Rob lets Jennifer bowl first, and Megan notices that Rob is waiting for Jennifer, so she uses the opportunity to throw her ball. Rob then gets up on the approach to throw his ball. When Megan and Jennifer are ready to throw again, they can both play at the same time, as they are not on adjacent lanes. Lane etiquette is seldom used during public bowling, but it is always used during leagues and tournaments. You may want to think of lane etiquette in this fashion. Lane etiquette is like crossing a street. You look both ways before getting up on the approach. Part of the excitement of bowling comes from testing your skills against other bowlers. However, to have a fair competition, you need a level playing field. Fortunately, bowling lanes are level within thousandths of an inch. Any competition between Jennifer and Rob would be fair. They often play in tournaments where only their scores are used and no effort is made to even the playing field between participants. This is called scratch bowling. The Canadian Open is a scratch event where the top bowlers from across the country represent their provinces in the attempt of becoming Canadian champions.
Little pressure on Jennifer Marshall as she prepares. And here's the strike that she wanted too. A little more concentration, I think.
again, on that shot, she got it out onto the lane a little bit further, and that's that little bit of extra aggressiveness that Jennifer needed. Jennifer's in a position to take the lead here by throwing a strike on this lane.
Just taking her time, making sure she's got good concentration, good direction, good flow.
That's there. That one's there all the way.
Said, that's her A-ball.
While the Canadian Open 5-pin championships or a money tournament are fair challenges for Jennifer and Rob, if they were to play against someone with a much lower skill level, Jennifer and Rob would turn in easy wins. For example, Jennifer bowls scratch against Quinn and beats him 263 to 192. Quinn doesn't have much chance of beating Jennifer in a scratch tournament, so to level the playing field, they would play pins over average. The average is the score that you can expect them to get. Jennifer's league average is 260, while Quinn's average is 186. Jennifer bowled at 263, which is 3 pins above her average, while Quinn bowled 192 with an average of 186, so he was plus 6. Quinn wins because he shot more over his average than Jennifer shot over her average. In a scratch event, you are bowling your score versus your opponent's score. In a pins over average event, you are bowling against yourself first. How are you doing today against what you usually do? Plus, minus, even? The majority of tournaments and almost all leagues are based on pins above average or a handicap system which works the same way. Most national championships and money tournaments, including those on television, are scratch events. Let's go back to the pins over average win by Quinn. What you can do between individuals, you can also do between teams. Jennifer and Rob get their friend Lynn to play on their team, while Quinn gets his friends Colleen and Jeremy to fill out his team. Usually teams are made up of 4 or 5 bowlers, but 3 will do for this example. It's a good thing that they are going to play pins over average, as Jennifer's team averages 760, while Quinn's team averages 500. If Jennifer's team bowled games that added up to 757, they would be 3 below their team average. If Quinn's team bowled games that added up to 499, they would be 1 below their team average, and Quinn's team would win. In the second game, Jennifer, Rob, and Lynn bowled plus 41 with an 801, while Quinn, Colleen, and Jeremy lost with 522 for a plus 22. Of course, most leagues play 3 games, so these teams will have to have the rubber match. In the third game, both teams wind up 11 pins over their averages for a tie game of 771 against 511. With this system, you can play the team on the next lane or all of the teams in the bowling center at the same time. The important point to remember is that everyone gets a fair chance to win. So where do you go from here? You can play with your family and friends, you can play for the honor of your school, or maybe bowl for a scholarship on TSN.
This lane has been a problem for him. He punched in 1, 3, and 5. See if he can make an adjustment here. There, he threw it a little smoother that time. Managed to get the carry for the double. And 25 the final count for a 203, but $500 into the scholarship fund,
which he'll be able to use at the University of Alberta, but it is a great performance by Darcy Fiedler. He bowled a 271 in his semifinal, comes back with a 286 in this championship game to pick up the $1,000 scholarship, which he'll be able to use this year as he attends community college, studying applied sciences on his way, hopefully, to an engineering career. Congratulations to Darcy Fiedler. You're our boys' 5-pin champion on the Youth Bowling Classic.
Maybe you'll love the excitement of a well-placed shot, Or maybe you have something bigger in mind.
In 1995, Sean Wells became the first bowler to repeat a series champion. He met Maurice Giroir of Quebec in an excellent final. Two superb bowlers at the top of their games. But Sean Wells began to pull ahead in the late stages with consecutive strikes for a score of 360, the fourth highest in the tournament's history. He's all smiles, and he'll be back to defend his title.
First game today may be the best of the tournament. It features two-time champion Sean Wells of Newfoundland, no stranger to the lanes at Roxy or the pressure of match play. And he's up against Diane Violini from Alberta, a seven-time national champion, and she's also familiar with free fall and match play competition. Match number 2 features Tracy Anseth from Prince Albert, Saskatchewan, two-time Pins Game champion with C5 and Masters experience. She's up against Winnipeg's Andy Kolodka, 22 years of experience in Master Bowlers Association events. He may be the dark horse of this tournament.
Men and women competing equally for $50,000. Five-pin bowling is one of the few sports that is gender neutral. All that really matters in most events is how well you throw the ball. Tommy Ryan invented a game that is much more challenging than its ancestor. Five-pin is a game that you can enjoy for a lifetime. The Canadian game has a place for you.